So, this is the second part of our censorship, I forgot even what we called it, censoring games.
Future of censorship.
That's it, the future of censorship in games. This is the second part, which is about sex. And last week we talked about violence, and Constantine, who's our visiting scholar, is a member of PEGI, which is the European counterpart to the ESRB, and he is preparing a report for them, which is why we're doing the series. So we want to have a discussion about this stuff. We want to show some of these games, show some of the issues and controversial stuff that has been touchy for people over the years in terms of censoring games. And this week, we're going to be talking about sex in games, and the actual act is what we're going to be talking about. Because if we just have games with people in skimpy clothes, that would be way more than what we're going to look at today. But the act itself is something that's way more controversial than just showing people in bikinis or people nude in games. So we're going to be going over that with some examples, but Constantine is going to say something first about the rating system.
Yeah, very shortly this time. Last time I told you a little bit about the background of age rating, how it works, especially related to violence. Today I'm going to keep it very short. So the interesting thing about the age rating in Europe is, as you saw last time, we have this certain criteria. And one criteria is sex. And normally in the American system, you don't even know why the game got a certain age, like not with a logo. In Austria, in Europe, we know it. So what I did is I looked up all games. It took me 3 hours, but I have them here. And so how do you get a rating? The first rating would be a 12+. So 12+, concerned to sex, means words or activities that amount to obvious sexual innuendo or explicit sexual descriptions or images or sexual posturing. So if you have that in your game, and I also put in the longer text for the raters, Abe would get a 12 now. I put in the list of all games that are highlighted, and it's 70 games out of 2,655 games that got 12 rating. And I have to say, for instance, Rock Band, all the Rock Band and SingStar games all have 12+ because of the sexual content in the songs. I didn't put them all on because it would have been, but that's like the biggest 2 games for that. Okay, now it's getting more serious. 16+. Anybody younger than 16+? No? So, depictions of erotic or sexual nudity, or depictions of sexual intercourse without visible genitals. Okay? So, 25 games did that out of 1,603 games that got rating 16+. I also have the examples here. I don't take it as a shopping list, please. And now, really serious, 18+, depictions of sexual activity with visual genital organs. And we have 4 games that did that. And I didn't have the time to look up how, especially the games with 16+ are rated in America, but I bet it is higher than 16+, but we'll see. So I will hand that around. You can look it through, amaze yourself which games you shouldn't play because of that stuff, or kids shouldn't play. And yeah, I would say this time we'll do more watching videos and playing games that have that. And yeah.
So this time, basically what we have is a list of games kind of roughly going through history. And starting with some really early games that had sex in them. And some of these are actually playable. So we're going to, and really what I want to do, I mean, this is not so much, I mean, there's going to be a little bit of a historical context, but really what I would like is, hopefully for people to, who haven't, play some of these games, and then we can all just kind of talk about, do you actually find this obscene? Do you not find this obscene? Do you find it silly? Do you not find it silly? Is this something that you would never want a child to see? Is it something you wouldn't mind, etc.? So I wanted to start a little bit with, I basically, this is like a super cheap kind of version of PowerPoint where I just made a bunch of Wikipedia pages. So, and YouTube clips, so it works. But anyway, there's a really early game, and I wanted to come up with some examples that kind of weren't so offensive and disgusting. But there's an early game called Custer's Revenge, which how many people have not heard of that game?
Actually,
Custer's Revenge. Okay, it's pretty horrifying. It was actually a game where you were Custer, and this is you, and this is your little member, and it's essentially a game about rape. Like, it's really disgusting. This game came out, by the way. This game exists. It's kind of trying to dodge arrows and like reach the Native American girl here, and the response you're having to this is the appropriate one, I assure you, which is revolting. But this is the reason I mention this is because this is a game that was, yes, agape. What? This, you know. So the reason I mention this is not necessarily to give the impression that all games that had sex in them originally were this distasteful, but that they this is one of the famous ones, of course, for obvious reasons. This is definitely one that there was like Andrea Dworkin even mentioned this one in an article she wrote at the time, and so it was like, you know, pretty horrifying. But there were definitely other games, and this play. I don't know if this is a game or if this is a company, but there are some other games that are, you know, I wouldn't say they're necessary. They're not as, you know, they aren't about rape, but they're about just kind of like silly, kind of pseudo pornographic games. But we have actually some of those, and this is one that I actually couldn't figure out how to play. And a few of these I actually haven't played, so I just actually thought that we could have some people play these games and even figure out what you can do with them. But I wanted to start with, what is it? I think Bachelor. There we go. So this is an Atari 2600 game, and can anybody guess what's even happening in this game?
Wait, it's like
Pong or something?
I don't know.
Is the person bouncing?
Are you playing?
I'm not playing, so I haven't started it.
So, do you want to try to run the dude with his member?
Can somebody? Does somebody want to come up and try and play this? Somebody should come up and try and play it. I probably shouldn't phrase it as want.
You get a cookie if you play that.
Bring it on.
Yes,
Yes, we should have.
here we go.
We should have somebody come play. Let me get a chair.
Is that what I should do?
So in the Atari 2600 emulator, in order to start, you press F2. And I think you press up, down, or left or right. I think left or right, and then space. I think.
Whoa.
I think something happens. I think if you press space. There you go. So can anybody even figure out what's going on in this game? Like, what does this look like?
It looks like.
It looks like
So it played a oblong sign at the beginning. I don't know
Oh,
if
you
it's a
can do
clue.
better. Oh, it's dating. Now you.
What's interesting about this game is that this game was part of a package of adult-only games. It said on it.
Oh, it's like Breakout.
Yeah, one.
Yeah, it's
You need the hard.
Wait, is it like Controller Johnson or something?
Is that
Oh.
Is that what
I mean, it looks like you're
Is that a
bouncing this
Johnson
naked guy
Johnson?
around into naked women.
It's
and
long,
that's
it's
the-
wider than it's tall, so it might be a dance. Okay, serious now.
Impossible.
Is this like love brickles?
It's pretty hot though.
How does this not become a sport?
Okay, it's sort of like Pong.
It's also curious that they have directionality to them. Like,
Yeah.
you only bounce off of them when you hit them from the front, but you get rid of them when you hit them from behind.
Why does it say Steve?
I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean.
It's been some sort of metaphor.
Reminds me.
Wow.
okay.
I'm really curious as to what happens once you get rid of all of these, whatever they are.
those
I think there's some. Okay, so reading up on this a little bit, I think those are supposed to be women. I don't even know what your avatar is supposed to be. It's sort of like a hot dog. I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, the little thing you can.
Yeah,
like
like
a puck.
It's. I can't. Oh, what is it? What?
Alcohol?
You mean like a
You
bottle?
get alcohol, which boosts your whatever you want to call European chicks.
So you're trying to get the girls then with alcohol?
Like, yeah.
Oh,
Maybe
no, that's an interesting
It gives you the
interpretation.
confidence to go back into the.
Yeah.
Well, I can see that.
That's an interesting
This
interpretation.
is highly
So
abstract.
what is the story with Mystique at the bottom?
I think Mystique is the company?
They're
I'm
the
not
same
sure.
publisher of
The
the
publisher.
Wester's Revenge.
The publisher, yeah.
Yeah. In my understanding, that they sold their games in like a little velvet bag because it was very sexy. That the actual cartridge came in that.
Yeah. Yeah, so these games were part, thank you very much. Thank you for being brave.
All yours.
So these were part of the same series. So even though, you know, I mean, obviously this is way less offensive than Custer's Revenge, but I'm not even really sure what's happening. But it's interesting. This game is called Bachelor Party. There's another version called Bachelorette, in which those are all men. So
Is it the same avatar?
Yeah, is it
those are
still the same?
couldn't you tell? Those are supposed to be women,
Yeah,
obviously.
there's a.
So
They're facing to
They're
the
curvy.
left, and they have sort of their arm.
I thought, yeah. So
They're curvy.
oh, this is a guy.
Yeah.
I see that. And then what's this? Oh, this is the beer. That's right.
It's yourself, Con.
I think so.
So it's a deeply complex.
Yeah.
It's a complex metaphor, is what we're talking about. So
want to leave this bar.
just to give you an idea here, so there's this other one. Like I can't figure this one out. I have to say, like this one looks more like obviously representational. Like I can't figure out if, for example,
Heard of this before. It looks like
That seems cool.
but I can't. So like the buttons don't seem to work. I was messing around with this for like 20 minutes. I couldn't figure out what to do in this game. Like I don't know if I'm one of the guys. Like I would think I'm the girl, but I have no idea. And then so the girl's pink and the guys are blue. There's a pink guy. What does that mean?
So I mean, I think I read about this a little bit.
You read about this one?
The blue guys are policemen. You're trying to avoid them. Your character is currently a gigolo who's walking around the buildings trying to get inside and have sex with people. But I don't know how.
Oh, you're trying to get a prostitute.
Oh. And so the blue guys are police, and this is like a jail or something, which is why it's like a fence.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but wait, no.
Okay, you're moving.
What happened? Now I can move. It's
Magic.
weird. Maybe that was the opening cinematic.
Oh yeah, you have to remember like what buildings they went into.
Whoops.
So if what was that?
You get thrown out.
Oh.
You went into it, you go thrown, you get thrown out.
My God, so it did so way. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
You're not very good.
It's a stealth game with long cinematics.
Exactly.
What? What's happened? Oh wait, now I'm running around in jail.
Now you can walk out of jail.
They
Make
let
sure you
me
go to
out.
the wrong building because the police guy can get you.
So I should try to go to the building where I saw the
Other pink person.
other pink person go?
Yes, I don't know where that one is. Oh,
What was that?
run!
Yeah.
No!
Oh God.
Yes.
So what is it? What am I trying to do here?
You are
Trying
trying
to get
to
laid.
find the building that the prostitute went into and
No, in the game.
And I've got. So why are my lives little triangles?
Empty?
Never know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Theory.
because it looks like a female avatar.
There you go.
No, I agree.
Nope.
Those guys go sort of crazy.
Oh,
No, wait, you can't. Same as Pathy.
Oh, see, yeah. Oh man.
You have 0 points.
I'm gonna lose all my pancakes.
Restart it and see if you can actually track the.
So I'll restart.
Okay.
So okay, so there.
There's one in that house, and then there's another one currently in that house.
Oh, you might have to do
Another
order
one
changes.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's Simon Says.
Yes. Really odd.
Okay.
What? There's
Oh my God.
Was that?
There's no way I can.
That's
What?
gonna be way too hard.
No way I can remember this.
Yeah, it must be order because there were
Oh my God, there's
7.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
There's 7 of them?
Okay, yeah, now you can
Good
go.
Lord.
Wait, how did you not get any of them in the last place?
Where was the first one?
That's
That
the
one.
last one.
Yeah.
Right there, right there.
Up.
No, no, back.
Up.
Okay,
Up.
up, across.
Right, up. That house.
That house.
This
No,
one.
no, no, no.
This one.
Yes.
Yes.
You're really bad at
Yes.
this.
That's where I was going.
Yes.
Oh,
Nowhere, there's
But
nobody.
you're not stunned.
Okay, I have no idea how this works.
maybe
Oh wait, they came out of the police station, so maybe they're. Don't put the camera on me. So maybe they're I don't know narcs or something. Like they're policemen pretending to be. Johns. So if you call them out, so they're actually cops.
So this is first of all, if that's the case, or even if it isn't, this is deeply complicated. And second of all, is this what you would imagine when you would imagine a game like with sexual content that would be, you know, controversial or pornographic? I mean, is this very important? Like, what is this?
It's pornographic in intent, but not in practice.
Maybe the packaging was
Maybe the packaging was.
a solitary game.
Maybe it'd be really
Was there
explicit if
actual
you went to one of the
controversy around this
1000s.
game?
No, there was about Custer's Revenge. There wasn't about these, but I'm just trying to give. I mean, they were in the stores for. They had the warning in the stores, right? Like, not for children. And but I guess I'm just wondering is if a child played this game, how bad would it be?
I don't think you can pick up anything. I don't know if I would pick up anything like
Yeah.
playing this without any context. It's like, oh, these people.
I mean,
And apparently,
I mean, what about people? Is anybody here half kids? Yeah, some people here have kids. Yes? No?
It's explicitness is not explicit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, right? There's no,
Implicitly.
yeah, it's implicitly explicit, right? I mean, it's an abstract game. It's not entirely clear without any sort of knowledge that it's an explicit game or that it's a game about, you know, sex, that there would be anything about it that is, there's nothing in the mechanic that suggests that it's, you know, about sex or anything like that. So, you know, it's the equivalent of, I don't know, a racy novel versus Playboy.
I don't even know if
It's not even a racing novel. Yeah.
I mean,
That
You-
we could conjure up
abstract
sexual content. We, like, you told us it was sexual, and then everybody tried to come up with sexual things about the scenario.
Yeah,
But if we were all looking at this and you said, "What is this game about?" We'd just be like, "I don't know."
Yeah,
People
like,
going to houses.
you're saying, would you have guessed it was about
Right,
sex?
unless someone said sex.
Unless
No
someone
one said
said it,
the triangles or panties. That would not have happened.
Yeah.
right.
But what about
this-
the other one, the breakout one?
Kai, what?
I'm sorry, thank you.
Would you have guessed the breakout one though? No? Or I suppose
I think with the breakout one, well, it's just funny how much they have to exaggerate like the genitals in order for
Yeah.
it to seem explicit. Because it's like there's no way you'd be able to tell what was going on unless it's like. I mean, I'm sure the packaging helped as well, and that's probably how they sold this stuff.
Can you try going into the bottom left house?
Third house in the back.
The which one?
That-
Which one?
No, the one you're referring to.
Right?
Go the last one, yeah, up.
Try one without any
Upper right?
because you tried all the
I'll try this. We'll switch in a minute, but I'll try it one more time. So this one? Yes? No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going on here. So.
Does it have a? Is there a
You
manual?
know what this teaches me? Trying to have sex doesn't pay. So, obviously,
Gonna
this is
get
an abstinence
arrested.
game.
Is there other?
Um,
Never mind. Are there parents?
So why don't, this is more just to give a little bit of context so we don't get the impression that, you know, our next game was the first game to ever have sex in it. But, and this game is also a game that people can tell me, but how many people here have played Leisure Suit Larry or played the early versions of it, like when it first came out? A few people? Do you remember playing it when it was out? Yeah.
I was in second grade. And my parents thought it was hilarious. And I would go to school and I would tell my teachers about this computer game I was playing and how I was trying to get laid.
How old were you?
Second grade, so like 8.
8?
8 or 9 or so. And I think there was an initial kind of like, really? But then they knew my parents, so it was cool.
I was the age that it was in, and I remember I learned English with that game because I remember when you go to how's the guy called like watching a prostitute in the first level, like how do you call a guy like this, like a like
John.
John.
John. Okay, so I remember it was change channel was the first thing to type in when you go into him. And like nobody knew what change channel means, like because that's not what you learn in school when you learn English. So I would like keep running around and asking people like what it means to change a channel in English. And suddenly somebody said, "Oh, it means change the channel." And I remember running home, going there, typing it in, really worked, and went up to a prostitute and got AIDS. And I was like, "What?" But I remember that it was the first game where I really tried to. It was the first time when I realized that it makes sense to learn English.
Yeah. How many people remember getting AIDS in this game? You do. You do.
I remember.
It was yeah, because it's also a game where you can get, like, if you don't prepare properly, there's consequences.
Who knows what AIDS is? Maybe.
But it's funny though. This game series is obviously like one of the most famous game series for sexual content. Although I personally don't remember any controversy surrounding this game. Do any of you?
Leisure Suit Larry?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You do?
Yeah. No, it was a big deal. It was.
So in Austria, when you were
Yeah.
So what was it like?
I just know that people didn't want kids to play it, and in that time we didn't have any age rating or something. It was like I think it was the first game that I remember where parents would step up and say, "Don't play that game," and they tried to stop, like the spreading of the game.
Now, how did that happen? Was it like, was it people you knew or people
Yeah,
your
totally.
parents
My
knew?
parents didn't want me to play that game.
Oh, okay. So how did you play it then?
Cut the camera off. No, the point is like, there was a time when people realized that I would play on the computer and like not do homework. And,
So that you had a computer, and they were like, oh.
no, it was my dad's computer, and
I see.
and I don't even know where I got the copy from.
I see.
I bought that game, of course.